We don't have anybody that comes out today. The heck. What's up, y'all? We have no camera. Awesome. Oh, coffee. Oh, shit. Hey Google, stop playing. Hey Google, activate Lock Force. What's up, y'all? Happy Saturday Morning Live, Season 2, Episode 35. Which I don't have a lot planned for today, but how is everybody? I hope everybody's doing well. I hope everybody who was in the path of Laura from last week. I posted our title last week. We were talking about Laura coming through, and they totally missed it. She totally went around us, but those of you over in I hear Arkansas and of course southwest Louisiana, the Bayou, some of that's Bayou area. Yeah. Hope y'all are okay. Didn't look like it was. I mean, it could be worse. Sure, it could have been significantly worse, but I hope everybody who's down in that area is doing okay. And a lot of people without power for sure. We did get very lucky with it for sure. But we're not gonna congratulate ourselves too much on that because it's just the beginning. Peter Fox first in the house. What's up, Arun? Access Locks West. Good morning to you and Night Owl. Thanks for being here as always. I've got a stray hair that's like right in front of my face, tickling my nose there. And my last like 20 minutes of getting prepared for live was involved with customers, so yeah, that kind of screwed things up there. What's up, Mr. Forbes? You are from work. Hey, we won't tell anybody. Ronald Williams, Miko, Paul, good morning. Gumby, Paul, Dave, what's up? Steam Gadget. Y'all were talking about being first in. Technically, yeah, I guess I could. I'm not always first in chat. Chat's a whole different thing than actual video. It's like a whole separate system with YouTube. So technically, yeah, Peter was first this morning. Mr. Hooligan, what is up? I'm hearing a beeping. It's like a warning beeping. Oh, where's the phone? We need to go get the phone. There it is. It's not the phone. Is it the phone? No. Oh, may have been. My phone was off the hook. Dang it, I hate that cordless phone. Knew I heard it beeping. What is up, Wallers? Wallers, you need to send me. You're over in England, or is that the right Wallers? We're assuming so. I think that's a little. Yeah, you've got to be. I think we got you right. If you've gotten stickers, let me know, because we were searching for that, and I did not realize that you were international. So yours has been delayed for a minute, but we're gonna get it out as soon as we can, as soon as we get down to the post office. Yeah, Wakanda forever. If you didn't know, hate to be the one to tell you, but the Wakanda dude, the actor, passed away yesterday. Don's finally got his Lock 4 stickers. We've got a whole new round going to be going out soon, so. DND, Locksmiths, what's up, DND? DND, CNC, DND. We need an E&E, don't we? 2020 hasn't even said hold my beer yet. I hope it's done. It needs to be done. What's up, Burnsy? Pete Woodfine, I've not seen you, but I saw somebody talking to you, so hey, what's up, Rass? There you are, Pete. Fix LPP's lock, Jason. You know, I've never been a fan of Rhodes levers. Never been a fan. They're tough as nails and they last forever. But I'm just never have been a fan of those. When you go to try to retrofit some cylinders, it can give you all kind of problems with those stupid things. And it may have been something when LPP took it apart. Wallers, that's you in the UK. Okay, so we have your address. Bus shutter rails. the lock, but the lock was blocked by shutter rails. We don't have too many shutters. We got a couple of businesses actually right down the street here that had what would y'all shutters? I guess you're talking about roll down shutters. It's very, very, very rare here, but so far the person who had them put on their building down there, which would normally have been broken into many times without, has not had any problems. So they work, even though they're held. Those particular ones, actually, LPP, speaking of, has one of those slide lock deals on his garage. He showed in one video, and we order locks for those by the 30s, 40s, and they would technically, I guess, be considered more of an overseas style lock because they oh, I know where one is. This thing. It could be a. Ooh, son of a. Hold up. Let me hold that up again. That thing. It's it goes in the slot, and I've actually got one of the handles too, and basically put it in and turn it, and the key it blocks this from being able to be pulled out. So really, you're just turning that, putting it in, and it stops right there. And they make like two different ones, long and short. I think this one's the short one. So really all you see when you're looking at it is this thing. And these things honestly suck. Any of them with the red dot that you run across. Oh, speaking of, we're going to be doing a video on this week. Hopefully I'll be able to film it today. I don't know for sure. But I do have a tubular video coming out. Stay tuned for that. But these particular ones, when they're used multiple, these are for, in the US, they're for the shutter doors that pull down in front of storage facilities, commonly on some of them. And that's what they're sold through Chateau stuff. And I've drilled so many of those out because they freeze up, or typically the key jams in it and won't come out. No matter what, I've tried every freaking thing under the sun to try to get those stuck keys out when they're stuck in those things. It ain't happening. So you just have to break it and then drill it. But they're not that hard to drill, luckily. Public storage locks, yep. And honestly, I'd much rather see padlocks. They're still capable of taking padlocks. They're cut out for either padlocks or that thing. So you can still use, like if that fails, you can always use a padlock to lock those closed. Chateau is Chateau. The only reason we deal with Chateau is for those, number one, and for these key blanks, which is basically a Y52 with a fancy head. Hey.
Hi.
What can we help you with?
I need keys made,
Right.
please.
Yeah, I'll take it off.
Oh, really? Oh, amazing.
How many did you want? And did you want to do any of the colors or patterns?
Yes.
All right.
How many do I want? 6.
Okay.
And
All of them colors, or any of them just regular?
okay. I think all of them colors. That way,
Keep track of them.
it's easier to not lose them.
So this row, or that row.
Let's go with the awkward puppies. What are you doing, Rainbow? Actually, I'm going to do 3 awkward puppies and 3 regular colors.
Okay.
Because my mom will. I'm going to keep it keys I've made for her, keys I've made for me. What are you doing, Rainbow? What are you doing, Miss Bo? What's happening? old doorknobs.
Yeah, we do.
So lovely.
A lot of it's in boxes and stuff, so.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is this your permanent keychain?
Yes.
Do you want to? Are you going to want to put one of these new ones on here and use this as a spare, or do you want to keep this on there?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because I was going to take it off because this will stretch out, and I was going to put it on your permanent key ring for you there.
If you'll.
But do you want to do
I'm
it?
gonna put the puppy on the permanent key ring and keep that somewhere.
Hey,
This is Rainbow.
hey, Rainbow.
She's living her best life today. Where are you going? No.
That is just a puppy right there.
She is. She is 12 weeks old.
Aw.
Where do you think you're going? Where are you going? We'll see if my mom loses these. I just came in here a week and a half ago.
Yeah, I remember you were here.
And had you make keys. And then I convinced my landlord to change the locks because it's been 10 years and,
Good for you.
Lord only knows. Although he used his handyman when
I heard about that story. Yeah, did you call here and
Maybe?
talk to Kim?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Because I wanted to use you guys, and I
Uh.
didn't want his handyman to have a key.
Yeah, but they're allowed, so unfortunately.
Crazy. My landlord having a key is fine. His handyman having a key,
Yeah, it's a whole different story,
yeah.
right?
Because while they were doing renovation work, they just put copy of keys in the mailbox. I'm like, you can't just leave these here. This is Jackson. Just because this isn't your house doesn't mean that it's not someone's house. So that was fun. But my mom has already lost the keys I gave her from the old lock, so.
So with 3 keys on Saturdays, you get a free tag. So you get
Cool.
2 tags if you want to pick one out.
Exciting.
And we got 1944 altogether.
Red and red. Where are you going, Rainbow?
Get you my bag first.
No, that's okay. I'll just put them in my.
Okay, well, let's look on here. Oh, it's a bag dog. A bag dog.
I mean, not like that. Just she only got her second set of parvo shots
Oh.
2 days ago,
Not
so
feeling so great.
she can't be. Oh no, she's feeling fine.
Oh, okay.
But she needs 2 to 3 weeks for the antibodies to develop.
Yeah.
So she's in a bag until the parvo vaccine is solid in the system.
Gotcha. Well, puppies are a lot of fun, interesting stuff to deal with sometimes. So,
They are.
see you,
I
pup.
have her siblings at home.
Oh.
So many of them.
Alrighty, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one. So, oh no, you're gonna yell at me. Hold on. Oh, I meant to tell her to get a Wise camera. She needs to get a Wise camera. Who was that masked man? Oh, my nose is exposed. Okay. Where was I? What were we talking about? Do I drill one of those with tubular grills? You know, tubular grill. Yes. Yes. No, I bought one of those. I paid, what those things were expensive as shit, aren't they? I can't remember offhand. Isn't that an A1 product? That is an A1 product. We need A1 back. Anybody want to go and have these with me on A1 manufacturing? Have these or 1 millionth these. Oh, I see what the spam reference was there. Yeah, right here. We do need. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. We don't have A1. Most of my good antique stuff is not here anymore. I took it and boxed it up. It's hiding in the recesses of my personal vault. But I did just get this one. I didn't even talk about this on last week, but I got this about a week and a half ago. I did post it on Twitter, but I haven't talked about it. The only reason I bought this from the antique guy, not antique guys, Old House Depot, antique guys, Old House Depot, where they do mostly reclaimed salvage and stuff. I want to get permission one day. Next time he comes in here to get keys, I'm going to ask for permission to do a filming thing on their antique stuff, because it'll make your jaw drop if you're not used to seeing antique stuff. He did have a few padlocks in his case. This one is MP&L Company. MP&L, formerly the artist formerly known as MP&L, Mississippi Power and Light, or Entergy as it's known nowadays. The primary Entergy, you know, most of you know what Entergy is. So yeah, it's a railroad padlock, and really that's the only reason I bought it. But the kind of another cool thing there is, I don't know, 1969 was stamped in there at what point, but good spring still needs to be cleaned up, obviously. A little bit there, but it's still, that's the thing, is the spring still works. And I actually have some of these keys here, but I don't have this profile. I have the reverse of the profile, but not that one. But these keys are cast. They'd have to be. There's a lot of work involved in making these keys, so that's my newest addition. It's still here for the time being. Just haven't found a good spot for it. I kind of keep this obviously for the look, and switch out stuff every so often. So we'll just put that right there. Anyway, but yeah, I've got a box. Somebody brought me these, which was kind of neat. Oh no, come off. Can you see that? It's like a whole ring of, I've actually worn it in videos. GM tryout key set that doesn't work worth a shit. Somebody gave me all these. They're all little chest keys. Oh, look at that. That's actually a pretty cool picture. Boom! Screenshot! Anyway, come back here, camera. We do have a little bit of Jason Reeds today. Yay! Jason Reeds! Kim is way behind on sticker shipments and sticker doing what she's supposed to be doing with stickers. So one day you'll get a little envelope from Kim, as well as those who are still getting the acrylics. We've still got those going out. It's just been busy in the shop, fortunately. So, you know, as I always say here, if you have to work today and miss Saturday Morning Live, that's quite okay, because work is more important than doing fun things like that, unfortunately. You know, gotta pay bills and crap. Dawn's lullaby. I have tried to help her, but she insists on doing it the hard way. Oh, I got a key bar in my drink. Damn it. Hate it when that happens. Where did it come from? Oh, it probably came out when I was brushing her keys. Alright, hold up. Hate using blue paper towels. See if we can rescue the key bar before it sinks. That would be one wicked splinter, wouldn't it? Supposedly a couple other companies were considering buying their remains. Yeah. For them to not have to rebuild completely, they'd have to. It'd already have to be a company that was set up doing that type of stuff. You know, it's not like Joe Blow, me, could say, "Hey, I just won the lottery. I want to buy that," and then like build a factory. I mean, you could, but that would take a lot longer turnaround than as if an existing company did that. They also need to bring back Curtis 15 clippers. We need a company that does all that. Pack-a-Punch, Curtis clippers. Did y'all see that one on Reddit with the gold Curtis clipper? I personally have never seen an all gold one. I wanted to say, and you know, I meant to look at my serial numbers too. Where's my Curtis clippers? Where do I put my where do I put my Curtis clippers now? It's always one of those things where I always forget where I put them. Yeah, there they are. Let's look at my serial number. By the way, I don't know if y'all were one of y'all was one of the people looking for the parts, but that's just hilarious. No, you don't. Just because these are out there, just don't. This is one of those things where if you have one and you have the parts, yeah, but don't like buy a frame thinking that you might one day be able to get that. It's just not really productive. I know people are going to argue with that, but mine is 182106 and 102114. So I was close to 100,000. You know what? That 100,000, that might be a special. That might be a special edition for sure. Interesting. I'll offer him $5.85 for it. I got a bid of $5.85 right now for your solid gold Curtis clipper. If only framing. You know, yeah, I have feelings about them now. I'd rather them not. I'd rather them not do it. Steve King would be better, even though I don't know much about it, but anybody other than the even though they do make good equipment. That's just a personal issue. Just a personal issue. You have a Curtis 14 that I'm not using. A2, yeah. That's what I was mentioning. Access was actually talking about it on another video about A1. I said somebody needs to make it A1.5. A1 out of beta. A2. But then everybody would think it's best, you know. Everybody would be like, oh, they sell best. No, we don't sell best. See if King makes the original. Hey, Nutty, I sent you that picture, but I never did. Which one was mine? I don't even know which mine is. I guess mine was that. Is that? I don't know. Did you research that? Did you get that straightened out? You should do a feature on the Curtis clipper. I've actually cut keys. I've got videos out there with me cutting. Can't remember what. And we've done a few on live too. Whenever somebody comes in with an old Honda or what is it, the HD90 key, and the old any of those older ones that I have kits for right there, even though it's kind of a pain to switch out. Once it's all switched out, it's so much easier than using a 1200. So much easier, way easier. So and way more accurate. No matter how accurate your 1200 is, when you delve off into cutting double-sided automotive keys, there's always issues. There can always be issues, no matter what. No matter how good your machine is, no matter how long you've been doing it. They don't sit right. You have to copy. That makes it based on your duplicator, because they always say code cut one side and then the other side in your duplicator, and then you're ending up with a duplicated key instead of an original. With the clippers, I mean, bam, 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 it's done. So yeah, I've got a box of number 14 parts still back in the back. If I can find it. I don't know where it is. But yeah, my 14 I have switched out. I think I took one of the nicer wheels because my wheel had gotten beat up. I've got about 4 of these. And I honestly never used the Euro or the Flurm or the Burris or the Flurm or the Emil or any of these other ones. Like literally I just use it for 5-cut GM. Of course, not so much anymore. And this thing, and mine's this one's 9859, 9,859. And I've got another one right there. I'm not going to dig it out because it's too hard to get to. Another one right there. Another one's still in my truck, I think, somewhere. I've never really paid attention to the serial numbers. But yeah, I got a box of parts. Punch. Got a punch back there. Got a couple of different carriages. And then a couple of these wheels, which is impressive to have the wheels because it's got the gear. So those are all in a box somewhere back there, and if I ever need it, probably won't ever need it, honestly, but it's gonna be buried with me, right, along with everything else. Who got an ITL? I don't have an ITL. I don't have any new cool machines. Yeah. You know, if I was gonna buy anything, if I was gonna buy another code cutter that wasn't high security or wasn't computer generated, 1200 all the way. I'd buy another one in a heartbeat. Why do things keep going in my freaking coffee? That's a bug. I hope he didn't drink too much. He's in there getting crazy on some cold coffee. Mississippi Cold Drip so far has received a key burr and a little bitty nap. I've had worse. You probably have worse every night when you sleep if you sleep with your mouth open. What do we have to do today? What are we going to talk about? Let's go switch cameras. Where's that other camera? Is it still working? I don't know. Let's see. I don't know. It may be frozen. Is it? Oh, no, it's not frozen. I'll be dang. That's amazing. Let me go put a battery on it, though. Oh, yeah. Do need battery. We're going to go over to this old guy because we need to do a little bit of work on him. I noticed this earlier. It's becoming off just a bit, so yeah, let's move over here. Let's move the microphone and everything. Let's move the mic. Once again, Jason put the wrong cords in front of the wrong cords. That was silly, Jason. Yep, did it again over here. Woohoo, you're brilliant. guess I don't need this cord really anymore since we're wireless cam. But we do need the microphone. Probably not a great place to put this. Okay, we got a lighting issue, but I want to see something here. Yeah, I didn't think you could see that. No, maybe not. Have to kickstart it. Let it get warmed up. It's old. Woo! Woo! No, it's good. I thought it was. I thought it wasn't good, but it is good. So, never mind. Oh, hey, look at this. Look at that. Oh, oh, get out of the way. Oh. Bask in the glory of a relatively clean workbench. It's so beautiful. Actually, I have room, almost have room to put my microphone over here. Oh, you know what we do? We do have we got a lot of videos coming up, but I know, right? We have to celebrate this. Now, I even swept up most of, it's still kind of crazy up here, but I even swept up most of underneath. Oh, it's amazing. Let's go full screen here so we can enjoy the, let's go back to that. And then we can go to, let's take that off. There we go. Get the live chat up over here. Oh. I've got to, I'm going to do another video on my Allen wrench switch out thing, in case you don't know about that. That's for those, because I've got a couple of worn out wrenches that I've got to tend to. And probably one in a giveaway that one day will show up. Not today though. So we have, the only thing I have left is all these cylinders that just kind of basically compiled, and once I get those sorted out. And I was talking to Wes last week about this thing. And you know, do y'all have this problem? Look, it's still the same as it was before. I can't come up with this. This is like, there has to be a named, disease name for that, where you can't commit to a new organizer. We need a word for that, y'all, if there's not one already. Like when you buy one of these and you're like, heckin' yeah, I'm gonna use this for so many things, and then you can't freaking decide what you wanna use it for. And you spend your time going, okay, so if I use it for, let's say, cams, and then like, since it's not separated, you're committing the whole drawer to that cam, right? Okay, so I've got 100 of those cams. I could fill that drawer up just like that. But then you come along and you've got the Yale. Like, it's just a little bit different, right? So then you're like, okay, well, it needs its own drawer, but I only have one, and that just wastes that drawer's opportunity in life to be full. See? Do y'all know where I'm going with this? Do y'all feel me here? So I know I'm going to use it for lock parts. OCD block. There you go. Organizer challenge. Fear of the new organizer. Yep, there's some good ones. Why is there a gnat in here bugging the heck out of me? You can't split the drawers because, oh well, yeah, they do. Did it not come with? I don't remember it coming with thing. I guess you got to buy those separately. Did it? It didn't come with those. None of those came with those. Wait a minute. I've been ripped off, y'all. You have to buy the separators separate? This is a Craftsman drawer. I guess you do. Well, I hate those things anyway because they always split apart. They're okay for that use. And then up here, like I can put keys in it, but it's gonna fill up. And I've already got a key thing right there. So, and over there. So what good is that 3 gonna do? I don't know. It's just one of those things that drives me crazy. One day I'll commit to it, and then even like cylinder. Like what's the purpose in doing that? There's no, because I've got 50 of those, and that's what I've got. That's what I've got these up here for. So I think I've got too many organizers to deal with, and yeah, it's a commitment issue, I believe. Wes, yours didn't have them either. They're ripping us off. We're gonna write strongly worded. No, I've bought that one. I've bought that one. And that one. Those two side by side. So, and none of those came with, and you can see the slots on the side. So we need to write strongly worded letters to Craftsman, y'all. New stock or used lock cylinders that need to be read. They're not big enough for that, really. Those drawers never come with dividers. Stanley here sells dividers in 10-piece packs. Well, if we come over to this one over here, it did. The old style did. No, it didn't. I don't think I've ever gotten one of those with dividers in it. So yeah, you're committing it to a small thing like that, and they're great for like these kind of parts, but when you really start separating parts and trying to keep a good, so that you can put a neat little face tag on there, you've committed it and it's permanent. So I better get these out, otherwise I'll be even in more despair. I don't know. I'll start on. I'm just out of. It's. I don't know. Maybe. Let's move over here and look at this. But the cylinder collection that I added up ended up being this. That was mixed out on my desk at the moment just because I had different projects going on. Oh, check this out. It's a bunch of baby plug followers. I do not need any half-inch plug followers. Because I realized that these general ones they sent me, they're all the same size. So, I'll be tossing these in random giveaways. And baby plug followers. That's what happens when you buy GMS locks. So yeah, I had these out on the counter to rekey. To put in the truck to be able to switch out on site. Those can be done. HP General, almost said HPC. I had this Sargent. Now I've got 2 new containers of Abus doodads and Abus or cylinder doodads. So like those could go in one of those drawers if I decide to commit to it. But like, what? I don't want to do that. National. That's a horrible camera angle. I think that was going to be put in my truck in case I ran up on a problem National, just because National, that's an oddball mortise cylinder. Rust one adjustable. Yeah, some of these were just antiques that needed to get put up. There's another National. And once I do what I'm doing here, either decide to put them up, we can do like this. This is how your bench becomes dirty again. You start spreading stuff out, saying I'm going to do this, and then never do it. Corbin, I've actually got a Corbin bin above me, but this is missing its guts. So looks like we have a jammed up front pin. Aha! Not anymore. So yeah, I'll likely continue on as much as possible doing this, and then a few of these were for giveaways. So yep, on its way to becoming a beautifully cleaned bench. And then here's some YouTube projects that I was going to do. This is a Corbin Russwin ED8000, and one day we're going to explore when your tab breaks off, what to do. What do you do when your tab breaks off of your Corbin Russwin 8000 panic device? Because it got loose and they never fixed it, and then just kept hitting it, and next thing you know, it breaks off. So that'll be a video one day if I ever get around to it. Oh, and here's that same cylinder that we were looking at a minute ago, but with a Y52 or that Chateau keyway. That's what they're called. Bezel. They go in, boop, and then that lets you pull it in and out. Bezel. They accidentally sent me that one. So yeah, a few of these I just will add to my history collection, my collection of modern lock art, or sort of modern. And then yeah, we'll even have it clean over there soon once those get where they're supposed to be. But the main thing was getting this part done. All right, let's go back over here, and we will finish up. We may definitely have a light one today because I've got a lot of editing I have to do because my phone is completely full. from, you were going to park there until I happened to walk up there, weren't you, lady? Yeah, you were. Yeah, you were. Oh, you had to say breakfast. Dang it, now I'm hungry. You have 4 pinning trays worth of I'm going to do. Yeah, I got several boxes of I'm going to do. I'll get to it later. I say I'll actually rekey them, but yeah, I won't rekey them most likely. I'll probably just toss them up in its various bins just to get them off the table. I know the table, it's almost cleaned off, y'all. It took forever. I finally got so sick of screws, those plastic bins at the top. They're all still in there, and they're sorted. That again, that would be a good organizer sorter. You know, maybe use it for screws, but I don't need screws right by my pinning kit. I don't need that. I've got one of those in the middle island is dedicated for screws, so it's the top half of the screws. At that point, I would pull out the drawers of the lock parts and transfer them over. So I guess I'm just gonna use it for like tail pieces and maybe do a couple of rows of cylinders, because if you think back to I remember how I had my cores out there, that might be an idea. But that's just one core per. I don't need a drawer per. Decisions. And you know, we did, if y'all saw on Twitter or the community post with the ABIS, I've still got those ABI. The flock of ABI in a box. 36 beautiful padlocks, but they're already boxed up, they're already lubricated, and they hadn't been picked up yet. So, I really, really wanted to do a padlock dominoes 5 or 6, whatever we're on. But it takes so long to do that. And I've already got them nicely boxed up and lubricated, and I'm not gonna. So I'll just wait. Hopefully one day I'll be able to do another padlock dominoes. You have a flock of abises. We were trying to decide what a flock or a cluster of abis locks would be. I don't know. Drill holes in a plywood sheet and hang it for cylinders. That's kind of what I had up there for my cylinders. This was more of a proof of concept type thing. How did my camera get turned around, y'all? So, are we up there? Yeah. I've got some scraps of really nice wood. I've got a wood place here that I can go get stuff. And this was, I had a scrap, and I was like, I wonder if this will work. And then it worked, and that's what I've been using for various plugs. So. Yeah, I could make one day. That was one of those one day things. I was going to make it a bit bigger and hold like 4 rows of plugs. It's very handy to have plugs, y'all. I use honestly that more than I use almost anything else on that bench. That's one of the most common use items that I use to check cylinders, check keys, try to figure out what's going on with keys. A flabus of abises. What's up, Mike? And good morning. And yeah, that gray, or that beige thing on the table, that's going back in the truck. But I'm actually kind of lighting my truck right now, and I don't feel. It's one of those things, you know, if you don't use it, and I actually do use that. I used it before I changed the strike plates in there. But that plastic bin and that beige thing are both supposed to be in the truck technically. So, yeah. And then the rest of it is going to get put up where it needs to go, back here. Come on, back up, camera. I can't believe you got all wonked out of place. There we go. So at that point, once the table becomes clean, everything on the floor right there is going to get put up on the table. That'll be the second phase of the table. And then once I'm able to decide where all that can go there on the new, either Mount Saint, Nakatomi Plaza, which is pretty much out of room, unless I do a little bit more reorganizing. But there's a few things that need to come off the floor right there. And inevitably, we're going to have another issue of that time I took the table away. I don't know how for how long, but we've got a restaurant. We've got. It's that time of the year where Fondren starts doing like the open house, the late things. So, yeah, that, and I saw a plastic fold-up table that's about that same size for pretty cheap. I don't remember where I saw that. But I think instead of dealing with that heavy-ass table, I think invariably I will probably end up with one of those white plastic. But those things don't hold us. We learned our lesson from the plastic tables. That's one good thing about that one, is those old school tables were fairly sturdy compared to that new crap. Fitting your first door closer tomorrow. Any advice? I don't know how door closers, are they standard surface mount? Is that like a worldwide thing? Are they different over there? Yeah, I've never thought about that. Or I've never looked. 6-foot ladder, yeah. I use, for door closers, I use, most of the time my little green one. It's only a 4-foot. The DeWalt folding table from Home Depot. Huh. I don't think I've seen one of those. I may have seen it and just didn't pay attention to it. Measure once, cut twice. Yeah, something like that. Yeah. The measurement is really the hardest part. Are you putting it on an aluminum door? Is that how those are? Or are they metal? Or plastic? Plastic. That's interesting too. I've never really thought about door closers overseas. Roan, Ian, did you answer and I just didn't see it? Like, are they standard, like surface mount, whatever? Or are they some kind of weird shape? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. That's going off. Turn your key in the door. Obligatory horn. Wood door. Something tells me he has a car problem. Horn problem?
Hey, yeah. I went to the Honda deal. I don't have the key. My key doesn't open the cylinder.
In the driver door?
He said I'm going to have that to be able to set the alarm, to get the alarm to work.
Your original key won't work in it?
Yeah, and I didn't know that. Well, my son had the car. He's been at school. And
so I really don't work on them, but I can go lubricate it and see if that'll help.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you don't recode the locks?
No.
Recode the...
Have you tried putting lubricant in there to see if it'll... Have you tried lubricant?
No, I haven't. Because the key fob been working. What happened was yesterday I went to have another key made, and the guy tried to program it, and it would crank the car and start it, but it wouldn't open the door. And then I didn't know that the key wouldn't open the cylinder. So, man.
Does it eventually cut off?
Yeah, it cut off. So you guys don't recode.
No, we don't.
Do you know who recode locks?
Only one I know is Aloha down at Western Fortification.
Aloha.
Or
I think they're closed.
yeah, they're not open on Saturday.
You know anybody else that recodes locks?
No,
Okay.
not that has a location that you can go to. Yeah, I'm not disconnecting the battery. I don't want him stuck here. I don't keep the Honda Sidewinder kit because I don't have a Honda machine to cut Honda keys, and 9 times out of 10 it's the problem with the key being worn out. So it's kind of one of those things where you can half-ass it by keying it to their old key and it'll jank up again, or you can do it properly, code cut the key back to an original, fix the cylinder with your kit, and then do it correctly. And since I don't have the equipment to do it fully correct, I'm not gonna screw around by getting a kit. Just don't work on them. Take your Honda, y'all take your freaking Hondas and get out of here with the damn horn. Well, that sounded kind of that was a sick. You drive down the road with this horn going off? Oh, no. Take your Honda and go on. It's one of those things where if we did that stuff, we'd do it. We would be doing it all the time. And good money, because like so many calls we get for that. But I'm not into it. I'm sorry. I'm not into screwing around with that crap anymore, you know? I'm not into it. For the younger guys, I'm not into that anymore. Anyway, we're tired of looking at that screen. So, wrong screen. If and when we ever get the machine to do that, just to copy keys, maybe then I'll buy a kit and start messing around with those. I'll pass right now. You just got rid of your auto stuff too. It's getting to be so much more of a younger guys game. Us old fellas don't like that auto crap. I don't want to mess with your stinking Honda. I don't want to mess with your Amazon bought key fob. I just can't believe people that actively sell key fobs and keys willingly program and cut customer supplied keys. I never get that. I would not take some Amazon piece of crap key and put it in my $10,000 key machine. That's stupid. Stupid. You buy the shit you know what is used for your machine. You're just, I'm sorry, but if you do it, you're just dumb. That's just asking for a break. You can't say, oh, you owe me $100 for a cutter to the customer when your cutter breaks. They're not going to pay you that. So, you know, anyway. What you're going to do, what time is it? 12:06. I want to get started with Jason Reed's. I think so. I think we're going to have a little shorter one today. We'll get started with some Jason Reed's real quick. Make sure we don't have any other people pop in. That looks just like a girl I went to school with. I'm actually going to go get a little more coffee since I sucked mine down so quick. And then we'll get started with Jason Reed's. Let's switch cameras one more time. Let y'all see what's going on outside while I'm doing that. Coffee bench today. Boop, 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 boop. Be right back, y'all. Oh yeah, the title of the today's episode was DND. DND. Yeah, we got to get to the title, don't we? We got to get to the point of that video. DND. Do not duplicate. And I don't think it's the main focus of today's Jason Reed's, but I think it's in one of the articles that I flagged. And I'm really getting into this, y'all. Okay, so we had talked about discontinuing it. We can't do that, but we're gonna definitely do it every other week or something like that. And now I've got all the issues that I have now chronically organized into years. And at this point, I've just started at my earliest year, which seems to be 1980 for one version. And now, because I've already because I started this with no clear direction, we have an issue now where I've got years that I've already gone through, which I'm leaving my little flags in them so that I remember what I've already done. And then when we finally finish off with no more interesting Jason Reed's, what I find to be interesting anyway, I don't know what we're going to do, but yeah. What's up, Chris Capoon? Dungeons and Dragons. So the whole point of it, and one of those things was, in one of those was D&D. Do not duplicate. In the mid 80s, because today we're going to be going over 81, 82, and then just a couple of funnies out of 84. And like I've said before, it was only from the 80s to the 90s. At some point, they realized that it wasn't, I guess, professional. I guess they got enough handwritten letters saying it wasn't professional for people to be acting like they acted. Yeah, y'all go somewhere else. Y'all are friends. Go somewhere else. There's a whole parking lot across the street, people. It's coming up on somewhere around that time where, yeah, we're going to have issues with people who are parking out front. Thank you for being considerate, people. But to do not duplicate in one of them. So the question to you: there's no winner or right or wrong, just what you do as a retail locksmith, or if you were faced with this opportunity. We'll go over here. Let me get the camera back from up front. Excuse me, will you make me this key? So, will you copy this key for somebody? In the comments, let me know. Somebody went and handed you that and said, can you make me a copy? Would you make a copy of that key? And this is the thing, headphone warning, sorry about that. And so the thing is, back in the 80s, they got into a tither. You know what I mean? Tither, sorry about the headphone thing. They got into a big old tither about do not duplicate. Do I or do I not duplicate? Because it stamps do not duplicate. I just stamped that key, do not duplicate. That doesn't make the key illegal to duplicate. Somebody can take that key and go stick it in a kiosk and get 100 copies made, or however many keys are in that key machine. So you just copy the key, people. They're going to get it elsewhere. They're going to go stick it in a key machine. Now, if they want to do not duplicate solution, and we get, it's funny, every so often you'll get a phone call from somebody, like, for instance, we had a guy that had a tenant. He had bought Best A2, and they come from the factory, do not duplicate. And the tenant, and it wasn't even a Best brand, it was like an off brand, right? But it had do not duplicate on it. So I just got up there, it was an A keyway, nothing special, A keyway. Heck, there's even a lishy for it now, right? Nothing special about it, so we did what we would do every day. Just copy the key and hand it to him. He gets do not duplicate keys too. If he brought that do not duplicate key back, I would duplicate it in a heartbeat because it's not a restricted key. But this landlord had been sold the system under the assumption that it was a restricted keyway. And we were like, no. Well, I'm going to sue you. And went through the whole, which we've heard that 100 times over the years, over ASA keys. And we were like, if you want to if you want a non-duplicatable key, then you need to buy a restricted key system. Well, that's what I bought. It's restricted, and we were like, no, it doesn't work like that, bro. So, threatened to be sued for discrimination. We've had that before too. Yeah, it's restricted profiles. You can copy. You can copy keys that say do not duplicate. There's nothing illegal about. I didn't make that key illegal by stamping that on there. There's no. Anyway, long story short, that's what that's all about. Do not duplicate. We're just curious. If you don't duplicate keys, that's perfectly fine. That's well within your right. That's another thing that we're going to look at is certifications during Jason Live. So under $100 a key. I had a government do DND. I cut government do. We do. The government comes to us to get keys made, and they bring government keys into our shop to say, U.S. government do not duplicate. The only thing that's illegal to not duplicate, is a post office key. That's its own thing, obviously. But we have best keys. We make best keys all the time that say government do not duplicate, because the person that's in charge of getting the keys made brings us the keys to get made, and he's literally in charge of the facility. So yeah, it's just a thing. If it's not patented, then you cut it. D&D is equal to do not park in my spot signs. Ha ha ha. Funny. Funny. 200 key deposit, yet the Locksmith QuickSet smart key. So I'm getting the GQA. Yeah. If you hardware stores are always going to carry A's for the most part. Not that they're going to cut them to make them work. Like, we get so many Y11 copies of keys in here. It's funny that that they even try. Alright, we'll switch over to a camera real quick and we'll go Jason Reeds. Jason Reeds. Stay there, camera. Stay there, camera. Okay. Ow, that hurt like a, you know what? Dad blasted. I just hit the crap out of my knee. This is a really bad place to put a penning kit with a sharp metal edge. Alrighty, y'all. We got a nice shadow in the background right here. Oh, nice. I know I whacked the heck out of my knee and it doesn't feel good. So, yeah. We need to go to the Jason Reed screen though, don't we? Alrighty. What's up, everyone? It is now time for Jason Reed's. You got your first GoPro. Which GoPro did you get, Ken? 8, 7 black. Alright, where my materials over here. My material. Gotta get our material. Right, like I mentioned, we are starting in 1980. The 1980. Let's go ahead and take this off, and it is in kind of story format, y'all. It's little bit in story format, so we have to progress our way. Some of it may not make sense in the beginning, but it'll work its way to making sense. All right, we good? Got a glare on my van right there. So, all righty, what is up, everyone? Welcome to Jason Reed's. Today we are going back to June of 1980. Okay, sun went down. There's a glare on my van. It's making me, it's refracting off my lenses there. I do have a reading light that's new. That Kim got me a reading light over there. I should bring that over here, but I'm not going to move it. It's a nice little reading light. All right. June of 1980. Everybody can hear me okay? Now I'm back over here. Let's move the microphone down. We're good. We're good. Okay. Jason Reeds. I think my hat's on backwards too. Let's see what we have in 1980. This wasn't about the DND. This was about locksmith procedure. Okay, this is it kind of starts a little like out of the blue, right? So let me give you a forward story with where we're gonna go with this in the future here. This is really about how things are done, how I do things compared to how you do things. How I do things may be one way, how you do things may be a slightly different way, as long as you get to the same point of accomplishing the task is what you're really looking for. Is all right. It doesn't matter how it gets done. There is no right way to do something, really. And that's what this is all about. That's what this leads to, right? Is there a right way to do things? Is there a correct way? Of course there's right ways to do things, but they can be slightly different. Like pinning a lock. There's a correct way to do it, you know. There's kind of rules that you have to do to make the lock work in the end. But how you get there, it doesn't matter whether you populate chamber 5 first or you populate chamber 1 first. As long as all the chambers are, you could do 3, 2, 1, 5, 4. You could do it however you want to, as long as it works and is correct in the end, right? That's where this is. That's where we're all going with this. All right, so association. Technically, the title says ASN dot, which is short for association. ASSN period. Not assistant. Is that assistant editor or association editor? Whichever. A editor, not this editor, but A editor, questions locksmith procedure. That's right. Mr. Claude from Maryland writes in, and he questions a locksmith procedure. I have been appointed as editor. That answers that answer. No, that could be either still. I haven't been appointed as editor from our local locksmith organization's newsletter. And I have a couple of interesting arguments that you've heard before. On the first one, I need your comments or thoughts. Locksmithing versus time and or money. So now, number one, I'm kind of starting to hate the time is money mantra. That's kind of getting on my nerves, right up there with putting the word what and not together as one word, because it's a ridiculous word. And the whole time is money thing is really starting to like get into that little itch in the back of your throat that you can't quite, you can't really scratch it because it's like in your throat, and you get this little itch. So you like drink different stuff trying to get rid of the itch. That's kind of bugging me like that. Get over it. Time is money, but get the F over it. Okay. I'll take a 78 Ford Chrysler and GM as comparable examples. The GM having metal all the way across the back seat. At Christmas, people tend to tie their trunks down to hold their Christmas trees in, and consequently, the tailpiece becomes disengaged. Now, if you're familiar with working on 6-cut GM locks, it's horrible. That happens, and it's horrible. Then the people bring you the car where the key will turn but not open the trunk. The disagreement comes because some locksmiths will pull the cylinder and or lock and use a screwdriver to open. Been there, done that. Then they'll replace the lock or cylinder and charge the customer $16. Wow. 1980, yo. I will pull the back seat, and if it is a GM with the metal across the back, I have a special bar to reach through and undo the bolts of the lock. Been there, done that. The trunk comes up, then I redo the tailpiece, replace the spring if necessary, and only charge $10. Haha! Not destroying any portion of the lock. My contention is that the other locksmiths have destroyed and replaced the lock when there was absolutely nothing wrong with the lock in the first place. My way may take longer and pay less, but with definitions of locksmithing which is acceptable as being proper locksmithing? I don't expect you to put yourself on the spot, but at the same time, please don't avoid or evade this question. I feel like he's written in before and had his question evaded. Second, recently, everybody has had articles on locksmithing legislation. Has anybody weighed the pros against the cons or come up with the legislation that a majority of locksmiths could live with? Sincerely yours, Claude. And the answer that was written in the magazine. First, there's no right or wrong way to any service procedure in our business because there are no standards set up in this industry. Without knowing it, this writer has made the strongest argument on behalf of certified, standardized education that I can think of. It would stop most arguments like this one. Second, legislation before there are standards set up by locksmiths in bold would be a disaster. The locksmiths in New York can attest to that. Let me reread that. Second answer in the second part of his question. Legislation before there are standards set up by locksmiths would be disaster. The locksmiths in New York can attest to that. It's getting cold in here. Let me turn that on. I'm going to have to get my shawl. Okay. Let's cut that down a little bit. It's a little chilly. So that's where we're going with the stories right now. Y'all remember that because we're going to reference it in a minute. Standards. Locksmithing assassin editor. So if it is Claude, nope, it's not Closu. Closu. So do y'all believe in standards? Do you believe there should be a right way? Should you have to go by a standard and put number 1 pin, number 2 pin, number 3 pin, number 4 pin, number 5 pin in that lock? Okay. All right. We're skipping ahead now to August of 1980, which is, what, a couple of months after that? Well, I forgot what that was. I forgot what year, what month. I was in June. This is August, so the next month. Now here's where we come into the Facebook replies. Remember, this is 1980, so this is how you replied. And look, this is interesting. Remember I said, I've got. This was from before. So we've been here. We've been to August of 1980 in Alive. I don't know which one, but we've been here. I can't remember when. I can't remember. Sometimes I miss the articles and I don't actually talk about them. But having the tags tells me that we have been in 1980. And the funny thing is it's flagged on the same page. So I meant to talk about this. All right, so locksmith education, why there must be standards. Why there must be standards. At best, locksmithing is an imprecise craft. If there are 2 ways to do a job, the locksmith will find them. If there are 2 words to describe the same thing, the locksmith will use them. It has been this way for a long, long time. I believe that the cloak and dagger attitude of many locksmiths had in the old days has a lot to do with the confusion that exists today. Nobody would communicate, so one guy would call something A, doodad, and another would call it B, tumbler. So how do we educate the newcomer? As he learns, will he call it a master pin or a master wafer? When he services auto locks, will he pull the lock or will he disassemble the entire column? I think you can begin to see why standards of education must be set and lived up to. For those of you who have been confused by all this talk of certification, this is what it's all about. To prove that a person reaches a level of proficiency, he must perform certain tasks or answer certain questions. I feel like there should be correctly right there, but it's not. The whole point of certified education is to determine the level of proficiency and to define the terms and actions needed to reach that level. In other words, certification will set rules and standards to reach in order to guarantee that each new locksmith is at least as good as the next. By reaching these new levels, we assure the public that the day of the Schlockmeister locksmith will soon be over. The tough part about establishing certified education classes is getting locksmiths with different opinions to agree on a standard for each area of teaching. Methods and terms must agree for ours to become a standardized and truly professional industry. The I'm not going to say that. Many locksmiths have said to me the toughest part of their business is getting good people for employees who are willing to learn. Perhaps the problem lies with the teaching and not the student. After all, as good as a locksmith might be, anybody could be confused without the proper standard teaching plan. It will take a lot of effort, but pay attention to all you hear about certification, because your help is sorely needed. So this dude is in favor, heavily in favor of certification. I'm going to flip over here to see what I flagged. Oh, yeah, we were there. I remember talking about that now. All right, certification. All about that certification. He is all into it, y'all. Y'all into it? Did y'all feel more into it? Did his words inspire you for more certification? I don't know. Association of the Lockforce Associates. Mike in, that is a great association name. I really like that association name. We need to get certified. That way my videos will count for credit CUU hours. So then this is November 80, August, November, September, October, November. Yeah. Fast forward a couple months. It takes a little time to type up letters and get them out. But in 80, they were going on full-timers versus part-timers. That's another thing to remember there. Full-timers versus part-timers. They had big issues when this came up, y'all. This was some serious talk when the whole full-timers versus part-timers came up, and we may go over that in the future, but basically there was a lot of people with a lot of differing opinions on who is better. Who is better? Okay, here we go. Staying along with certification. In the February, this is Ed from California. Ed writes, all right, Ed. Hey, I'm Ed. Listen, tension versus torque. Controversy continues. That's what I'm going to title this letter. In the February 1980 issue of this magazine, under the editorial of A Case of Semantics, you published a letter from Art of Vallejo, California, concerning the misuse of various words, primarily tension, throughout the industry. I've been concerned about this since I first entered the craft. I have been very concerned about this since I got into this business. This has been devastating to my psyche. In these intervening 6 months. So I've only been in it 6 months, but it has been devastating all the same. No one has seen fit to even comment on the subject. In the last 6 months of me doing this business, and I am now an expert, nobody has seen fit to write about this. So that's why I'm writing you. I think my personality just changed. You got to get into their words, right, to really feel their personality. I'm writing this letter because I feel that Art's letter requires either rebuttal or endorsement. The use of tension, and honestly, this is kind of a big thing. When we actually mean torque, friction or compression is virtually inexcusable. That didn't make sense. The use of tension when we actually mean torque, comma, friction or compression is virtually inexcusable. These four words are correctly used by science, engineering, and nearly all the mechanical crafts and trades to define four separate forces of mechanics. If we substitute the word compression for torque, it would sound and be just as ridiculous. Why do locksmiths have to stand against the world in such an obvious error? Maybe it's tilting with windmills or downright picky to seriously discuss such a minor problem, but I think not, because it's freaking bugged me for 6 months. Respect for our craft can be diminished by what I would call ignorance. If we must call a torque wrench by some other name, let's make up a name. Let's make up a name like Thrampson wrench or thumb bubble wrench. But not misuse the word tension. Has driven me crazy for 6 months. People, please stop using the word tension for torque and vice versa. Do we really want informed, intelligent people to think that locksmiths are a bunch of inarticulate snobs and clods? Says Ed. Ed is highly upset with tension versus torque, y'all. I mean, it got me upset. Hold on, where are my glasses? I can't believe I'm reading without my glasses on. It's amazing. My eyes have gotten better. All right, tension versus torque. Ed is highly upset about that, but you know what? It continues. It gets better because there are people out there that want to respond to that. We were going to have to talk about a thumb bobble wrench, right? That's what it's going to be, a thumb bobble wrench. I can't believe that the 6 months of his life were spent worried about that. I can't believe that. Honestly, I can't. I can't believe that, y'all. All right, we're skipping ahead to December 1980. Shortly after that, we've only got one little thing. What is this? How long is this? Okay. Subscriber blast certification issue. All right. Also out of California. Literally every one of these people is out of California. Let me scan this real quick because I need to get into his... All right. Wolfred. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it. Wolfred. How would you say that name? Wolfred. It's all one word. Wolfred, right? All of y'all who say torque versus tension wrench or tension wrench versus torque, you're messed up in the head. Let me tell you, if you want to call it a tension wrench versus a torque wrench, you're really going to piss off Ed. Ed probably still has nightmares about that. Wilfred. But it's Wolf. Wolfred. Wolfred. Wolfred writes in, dear person who wrote the article from a few months ago. Some thoughts from the top of my head regarding licensing and regulations and you. I wonder if you could succeed as a locksmith. I doubt very much if you possess the attributes of the average locksmith. We're going to crank this down. Sorry, we're getting a little excited. Let me crank this down just a bit. All right, we're good? We're good. All right. He is a little excitable. I doubt very much if you possess the attributes of the average locksmith, i.e. self-discipline, persistence, and patience. The average locksmith is an entrepreneur. People who try to fake their way in the business don't last long. There's no continuing income for fakers. The market has its own way of weeding them out. If we were to follow your line, certification. All right, let me stand up over here. I gotta take a break. Oh, wait a minute. We'll get back to it in a second. Let me scare this person off. Oh, get off your phone, lady. Come on. You coming in or not? Hold up, y'all. We gotta take a minute. You gotta take a minute. It's like lunchtime now. Wolfred is gonna be is upset. Still, I'm keeping 2 spots open on Saturdays now just for these assholes that want to take up one spot. And as soon as I don't run them off from one spot, somebody else will come along and take the other spot, like this dude's trying to do. Yep, back up, bro. Okay, at least one of them did. So yeah, if I'm not paying attention, then they'll end up in both freaking spots. So take a breather for a sec, y'all. Let me take a sip of coffee. Oh, sorry, microphone. I know it's a little bit low again, but we'll get back to Wolfred. Is it Wolfred or Wilford? Wolfred. Okay, we're gonna get back to it, I guess. Dang it, lady. I know she's gonna walk off too. I just know it. I can feel it. But we gotta get back to Wolfred's letter. All right. If we were to follow your line, certification, going back to that, we'd have the government starting training programs for the immigrants and the hardcore unemployed. And before you know it, you'd find a competitor, government supported, on every corner. It's hard enough to earn a respectable living nowadays without the things that you suggest. I feel like this guy lives in Brandon. Why don't you quit the magazine and spend a year earning the living as a locksmith? If you're successful, come back and tell us how it should be done. Also, why don't you use smaller type in your classified pages? Then you can sell us all microscopes and replace the magnifying glasses we have to use to read the page now. It's a good thing you've still got a good couple of people there. If you didn't, I wouldn't be a subscriber. So the reply to this was, I think my old buddy Wolf has missed the point. It seems as though he wants to keep locksmiths a secret society with the purpose of keeping outsiders away. Sounds a little bit like the mafia. They aren't too crazy about competition either. Seriously, fears about government intervention in certification are groundless as long as we control movement. The danger grows larger, however, when the industry grows and doesn't have certified education. Some legislatures might find it in the public interest to control our industry using arbitrary standards. Industry-based certification starts to look real good then, doesn't it? Yep. And here's another funny one. Same page. Locksmith disputes standardization. Dear Mr. Okay. Dear person back in August, the editor. Yep. Wait. Hold on. Who's he talking about? He's obviously talking in the August issue. Going back to, yep. Who was it? Yep. The editor. All right. I just finished reading your commentary in the August issue. I also went back to the June issue and reread the letter from, I can't say his name. What was it? Claude. Claude. With your comment. I sincerely hope the impression I have is wrong. It appears to me that you are inferring that there should be a standard, bold, one and only one way of doing any job. Conversely, I think several approaches should be considered and the best for a particular situation used. Claude referred to trunk lockouts in his letter. I would like to also use GM trunk locks as an example. Problem: key turns, trunk won't unlatch. Diagnosis: disconnected tailpiece. Solution 1: remove rear seat, crawl in trunk, remove latch, remove lock, repair, and replace all the components. Solution 2: drill out lock, open trunk, replace lock. Solution 3: remove bright cover from lock. Small end nippers do a good job. Saving dust cover and springs. Insert key, turn to stop, pull out and turn back. Continue with pull. Core will come out of lock. Open trunk with screwdriver and repair lock. I've done all 3 of those. In this case, I believe solution 3 is the best, both from a profit, time, and material, and from a professional approach. Please do not misconstrue the above to mean that entry through the back seat should not be used, or the lock drilled out if circumstances dictate. I do think that locksmiths need to master more than one way to do a job, and apply the best methods to accomplish their primary purpose, to make a profit. Quality will tell. This is from Ken in Florida. And their reply was, Ken, I do not advocate doing a job only one way. I do, however, feel that standards should be established to do each job the quickest and most effective way. This will mean more money per day for the locksmith and less callbacks. If you remember back an episode or 2 ago, we had part-time locksmith and, okay. Remember the whole police thing? Yep. So that may be something we have to come back to. I'm not sure. My whole deal on this was coming back and going through and then being done with that issue permanently. But if we ever broach the, I guess I need to color code this a certain way, but if we ever broach the whole police thing again, yeah, that should have been in not last week, but the week before. That should have been in that issue. All right, get on up there in time. So we are almost, we do have to get to January 81 next month. All right, am I missing any important comments? Then you damage the seat. Yeah, some of those GMs, you just can't fight that metal. You just can't fight that metal. I've been there many times. All right, so okay. What was his name that had a problem with tension versus torque? Reader questions author word usage. This is from Joey. Oh, in Mississippi. Look at this. Jesse. Did I say Jesse or Joey? Jesse out of Mathiston, Mississippi. Mathiston. I don't even know where that is. Mathiston, Mississippi. I don't know that. Claude. Thank you, Pete. So I think he's replying to Claude. And we can do this. This is Mississippi folk right here. So let me tell you about something. Let me tell you. Let me pull up my inner small town Mississippi person. Anybody know a Jesse? I hope Jesse's not still around. He'll come get his truck and drag me behind it. Mathiston in Mississippi. Small town Mississippi. I can assure you that's a very small town, because I've never heard of it. He has some thoughts to throw out there, y'all. That's right. Alright. Listen, y'all. This dude can't be from Mississippi. Literally can't be from Mississippi. Jesse writes in. I've been a part-time locksmith for several years, and at the present time, I'm seriously considering leaving a thankless dead-end job as a marketing manager and pursuing locksmithing as my full-time career. I've enjoyed your magazine for many years, and it's helped me a lot in situations. Now I'd like to give you the opportunity to let me help you. You see, I enjoy reading. There's not much else to do in Mathiston, Mississippi. Especially when the material is as interesting and informative as is this magazine. But one thing really bothers me, and that is to keep losing my concentration on the subject matter by being distracted by misspelled or misused words. There seems to be a big push to standardize locksmithing terms, as reflected in Ed's letter titled Tension versus Torque in the November 1980 issue. How can we do that if we are going to abuse simple, standard, and everyday words the way it was done in the article Lock Legislation, Political Insanity in that same issue, which we didn't look at? For example, out of that article, the word leverate, he hyphens it out on page 32, and the word lock on page 34, parentheses, the owner has locked his keys. Sure, those are simple typographical errors, but number 2, the word inane, used throughout the article. The title focuses our thoughts on insanity, and then the word inanities is used in the article. And then the word inanities is used in the article. And then the work, supposed to be word. So he's preaching. He's preaching about some spelling, right? Let me tell you something. You need to spell your words correctly, alright? This bro ain't from Mathiston, Mississippi. I'm sorry to tell you this. The word inane used throughout the article. The title focuses our thoughts on insanity, and then the word inanities is used in the article. The author has very valid points to make about the serious effect of this legislation has on our lives and our jobs, and then calls this legislation inane on page 33. Webster's Dictionary, copyright 1979, defines the word inane as lacking significance, meaning, or point. Doesn't that greatly reduce the impact or credibility of the article? For safety reason, this is number 3. For safety reasons, I don't know why he has this bracketed out in threes. For safety reasons, whoever installs a lever handle with the end of the handle pointing out from the door in such a fashion that it can snag close or low enough that it could impede a wheelchair? Question mark. Number 4. Last but not least, please send me a list of the several places where fire codes prohibit the use of locks which require a key for entry, and I'll personally go to Washington and fight against those insane laws. I feel like we're missing a lot because we didn't really go over the article. I started this letter with the intentions of it being an application for the job of proofreader for your magazine. I don't like to complain, and I know it is rare for this many things to happen in one article. I suppose most people just read on and ignore these mistakes and say, well, I know what they really meant to say. Just like it took us a minute, but we know that you really didn't mean work and you meant word, not work, word, bruh. I just couldn't help thinking that I was reading a local newspaper and not a renowned, national, professional magazine. Thanks for listening, and if you need a proofreader, let me know. I'll be glad to submit my resume. Bro. The editor was like, thanks for the offer and the corrections, but the position of proofreader is being handled by somebody because she has a vicious red pencil. She is blind, but she works for what we can afford to pay her. You know, that dude may have lived in Matheson, Mississippi, but I don't feel like he was from Matheson, Mississippi at all. I know small town Mississippians, and they could give a rat's ass about that. All right, so last one. Last one. Where are we going here? We've got. We can do last one because the last two are good. He was very mad about misspelled words, y'all, and you know that's the thing. That's how you vented back in the day if you were a locksmith. That's how you vented to your fellow. I've got this flagged off to the side here. I don't know why. Let's see what that's about. Do-it-yourself. We'll go into the do-it-yourself thing maybe next week. So we're looking for specific examples of semantics. Okay. Literally, this is a whole page article, and we don't have time to talk about a whole page article, right? I'm going to shorten it real quick. Because he starts off this article. This is RL. Next to Oriental languages, experts consider the English language the most difficult in which to idiomaic proficiency. The language has been influenced and enriched by words, blah, 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 blah. It goes into this whole Celtic, talking about languages and all this other stuff. Pretty much unimportant. 2 letters in this magazine from Art and Ed concerns themselves with the term tension wrench. This is a really smart fella, I think, y'all, because he got a whole page. Claiming that the term should be torque wrench instead. Before attempting to redefine a tension wrench, it is important to understand its true purpose. Its purpose specifically is not to turn the lock plug. That can be done with a screwdriver, a paperclip, a coin, or anything else that will go into the keyway far enough and have the strength to operate the mechanism. Rather, the purpose of a tension wrench is to place a stress upon the tumblers of the lock to hold them in whatever position they are placed by the pick during the picking process. Once the lock is picked, there is no further use for the tension wrench. Indeed, some tension wrenches simply do not have the strength to apply the amount of torque necessary to turn the cylinder after it's picked. Both the terms tension and torque are derived from the science of physics when used in the application we are considering. Roget's thesaurus gives stress as a synonym, I hate that word, synonym for tension. In physics, a stress or tension is usually considered to be a passively sustained force. Torque, on the other hand, carries a connotation of dynamic or kinetic energy, i.e., energy in motion. The connotation of motion is very plain in the torque wrench. I'm skipping all this, right? The torque wrench is used to install certain bolts in automobiles. Is used to rotate the bolt into position when the certain tension has been reached. But when that tension has been reached, its purpose is ended. It is only a torque wrench and being used for its intended purpose as long as the bolt is rotating. There is no doubt the terminology of locksmithing is confusing, and it many times seems a hodgepodge mess. Often lock manufacturers refer to and catalog nearly identical parts under more than one name. hub, cam, scalp, outside front, post, stump are some of the examples that come to mind. None of these terms has a more commonly applicable connotations, but all are legitimate trade terms. Each has some logic behind it. Each is endowed with legitimacy by the manufacturer who feels the term best describes his product. The term old hand and stumped in... Oh, I missed a word. Some duplication of terms is especially confusing to the beginner, and sometimes they have the old hands and old hands stumped, quote, stumped too. The term old hands and stumped in the preceding sentence are imprecise technically, as each has several well-defined meanings, but is a connotation associated with the way in which they are used for precision and validity. In my opinion, locksmiths should worry more about how they are effective locksmiths and indulge in the semantics of words and phrases which convey precise meaning to the trade, and have done so for generations. He's very wordy. He only wrote in just to show how wordy he could be. All right, y'all. So the funniest thing about all that, honestly, again, is how they bitch back and forth, right? And how people will come in and be like, "Ooh, this is how it should be done. If you turn the Celtic language is based on the torque versus the tension, and then I'm smarter than you, and I'm watching this magazine, and you should pay attention to me because I know what I'm talking about. So what I say goes, and that's going to be the end of it, right?" But in 1984, we have a couple of funnies. January and February of 1984. Apparently, in the '84 era, this magazine turned into Tinder. And I say that because I found a couple of articles. And I don't have the articles that they're referring to, but I do have something that I will pull up on the screen. Let's go to studio mode because I didn't load this up. So let me go ahead and load this image up. Hopefully, I did this once before. Hopefully this won't. I'm only doing one, so hopefully this won't screw up my CPU. Completely forgot. Yeah, it just spiked my CPU. Okay, hold up. Oh, that was way too big. Way too big. All right, and I'm looking at some of you guys out there now. I know it's easy to do, right? But be respectful. All right, just all I gotta do is be respectful. So in 1984, we had a couple of quick write-ins, right? First one was, what's his name? Continued on page 42. Damn. 42. We got to go back and find his name. Herbert. Herbert writes in. There goes his phone. All right. Title. Reader applauds this female writer. Desires correspondence. Herbert writes in, and apparently this lady, now in articles, right, they put a little picture of the writer usually in there, and they saw this picture and they read the article. So Herbert writes in, I'm writing. Okay, we gotta get in persona for this. I'm writing in regard to that article that was in the October issue of your magazine, written by that lady. And the article is a locksmith and a lady. I admire her very much. I do. I admire her very much. I'd appreciate it if you would very much send me an address where I can get in touch with her, as I'm interested in car opening also. I'd appreciate it very much. And the only reason this is creepy, sorry about that, because the editor replied, her article seems to be developing quite a following among our readers. If you wish to contact her or any other writer, please send your name and address here, and we will forward your letter to the appropriate person. Right. So apparently, they have received many letters on that. Now, in February, the month later, which is just back to back, yo, back to back, and we have this. I just want to write in and tell you that, just a quick note to congratulate you on the extremely nice cover of your December issue. It was extremely nice. Not only is the cover most tasteful, but the subject matter is certainly of concern to the locksmith industry. Unfortunately, we tend to have a rather narrow viewpoint and think that our world revolves around a key and a lock. That's it. I just wanted to write in. I'm Breck from Georgia. I just wanted to congratulate you. That's right. Just a quick note to congratulate you on the extremely nice cover on this issue. It was extremely nice, and for that I thank you. Swipe right, swipe left. I don't even know what you rate. Whatever way you swipe. So yes, in 1984, we had 1983, I guess, had an extremely nice cover that drew a lot of praise because there are way too many horn dogs out there that are getting the wrong types of magazines. Wrong type magazine. You're looking for that other subscription. But it was an extremely nice cover. Extremely nice. Whew. Just... no. Don't do this, people. She was party. Whoa. Party girl. Extremely nice. I tell you what. Just extremely nice. So anyway, that ends our Tinder session of 1984 Locksmith magazine. Extremely nice. She was... that cover was extremely nice. I wish you'd do more covers like that. And it's funny that they published it. It's like, why? You know, there's a thing called a garbage. just throw those letters away. But no, they published them. Oh man, I tell you what. Some of these people were a trip. Extremely nice. Alright, be careful, Ian. Yeah, I gotta go do work too. It's 1:10, we're way over. Those flesh bolts are extremely nice. Oh. So, yep, not next week, but maybe the week after that, once we get around to it, we'll be going off into the whole, I thought that I had, maybe it was one by Skip, but maybe I don't know where the DND, we'll look at that in the future. We'll talk about that in future issues, because they did start going into DND. Honestly, don't even know why I titled today's thing DND, because we really didn't talk about that a lot. I thought there was actually an article in there Turns out there wasn't, so, but it's the end of the day. Let's answer this phone and say no. SE lock and key. And Fonder and across from Walker's Drive-In. Okay. Okay. So maybe once I go through some more future issues. Oh, I know what it is. Here it is. Yeah, we didn't get to it. That was one of the longer ones. It was about, I think this was about DND, was it? Why do I have? Oh, we are definitely going to cover this one next time. Because this was 90, and this guy, well, I did look up his merits, and we'll talk about this in the next Jason Reads, but it was a marketer. It was a professor of marketing who has a very long list of credentials, who is on Google now, so you can go get his picture, so I'm not going to name him. But I tell you what, back in 1990, he gave some creepy-ass advice to locksmiths. And we'll talk about that. We'll talk about that on the next Jason Reads, because I'm going to have to put that aside and take that back out. So, yeah. Speaking of creepy, he kind of gave some creepy advice, like, this area, if this area was where children were kidnapped, then go to people's houses and give them brochures on how to keep your kids from being kidnapped. Look, how creepy is that? No. Oh yeah, I'm a locksmith, and there's been a lot of children being kidnapped around here, and I got some free candy and some stuff in my van if you want to come out here and look at it. I mean, just really bad advice that nowadays would just be like, what? You don't go to what? I heard a kid's been being kidnapped around here, so as a locksmith, I'm here to help you personally. Can I come in your house and meet your kids? I mean, it's like, what? So, yeah. We'll have to talk about that in a future video. But anyway, we are at the end. We are over time. I thought we were going to end early. We went too long into Jason Reads. Got a little too excited, but that's just what it is. I appreciate everybody who's been here and is here. Do not disturb Jason Reads. That's a good one. Free candy. I want to spray paint that on the side of my van when I finally have to replace it. Free candy van. Candy. Well, I was called the candy van when I was picking up my kid from high school, because it's a candy van. So we know. Normally, like girls cheerleader volleyball, girls volleyball. They were like, normally we'd be scared of people like that, but we know it's your dad, so even though he drives a candy van, the candy van. Anyway, y'all have a great one. I appreciate everybody who stayed on and then stayed in tune for Jason Reads, and we really didn't do crap today. We were gonna adjust the key machine, didn't need it, yay! And we admired my clean desk, which will probably be dirty as heck soon. So thanks for tuning in. Once again, the next ones coming up are going to be some antique locks I've got sitting up there. My phone is full, totally full of memory, which makes it extremely hard to edit videos. So I don't know how I'm going to work all that out, but I guess that's just one thing that I got to do. And then, yeah, we had just another day. I'm glad that the hurricane missed us. Hopefully more hurricanes will miss us. Hopefully you're not getting any effects of it. And hopefully we won't be... don't take candy from strangers. Don't take candy from the candy van. Go pile Jason's. No piling stuff on my bench, dang it. Hey Google, deactivate lock force.
Okay, turning lock force off.
Got that click. Alrighty, good night. We appreciate y'all for being here. And y'all have a great week. This makes the end of Saturday Morning Live. And we're out. We're out of here. Yes, lock force disinfect. Discombobulate. Where's the button to stop this damn thing? There it is. Alright, peace out.